M. Zim says, aside from violence, does anti-Semitism fall into the rubric of free speech? I assume Zim is referring to the fact that the First Amendment does protect hate speech, for example. But when it comes to UCLA and what's tolerated on campus, kind of what's the difference here?
I want to be very, very clear. There's three reasons to fight anti-Semitism. Reason number one is to protect our Jewish students, faculty, and staff. Reason number two is to protect our non-Jewish students, faculty, and staff. Because once we allow one form of bigotry to go on, no one will be safe. And the third reason, which is something that we don't talk a lot about, is we need to fight anti-Semitism to save the universities. And what do I mean by that? If you look at the historic record, a century ago, German universities occupied the place of global preeminence that America's universities occupy today. Today, if you look at the rankings of the top 20 universities in the world, typically about 15 of the top 20 are American. If there had been rankings of the 1920s and 30s, 15 of the top 20 would have been German universities plus the University of Vienna in Austria. Today, 100 years later, there is 0 German universities on that list. And it all started with anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism led to the loss of an enormous amount of talent, Jewish researchers, many of whom, by the way, came to the United States and helped win the war. Anti-Semitism corrupted the soul of the university. It was in universities that all the pseudoscience that justified the racist laws, the Nuremberg laws, that pseudo-research was carried out in universities. And probably the worst thing, the worst breach of medical ethics in human history, which were the experiments on the prisoners in the concentration camps, the horrific experiments, that were designed by professors in the schools of medicine. Anti-Semitism destroyed the images we have of book burning during the Nazi period. Those were libraries in universities. So my point is, we need to combat anti-Semitism to save universities. But protecting our Jewish students and everybody else.
Hi, I'm Pat Morrison, one of the hosts of America at a Crossroads. If you like this video, don't just watch. Head over to our website where you can subscribe for early access to new programs, see our upcoming schedules, and connect directly with our guests in our weekly live streams. Thank you for watching.
But let's talk about how far the university can go, because as I said before, the government can't act against people for hate speech alone. The UC system is a public institution, but UC campuses, you do have the ability to say certain speech is not tolerable on campus, correct? That this is a hostile environment, is damaging to our educational mission here and damaging to members of our community. So how far can you, where's that line for the UC system?
Well, I think, it's all different. To be a member of a university, you need to believe that that one of the most important roles that universities play in society is to serve as a vehicle for dealing with differences. Differences of opinion are good. We're not against, we actually not just tolerate, we celebrate differences of opinion. But we process them through reason and dialogue and not through hatred and violence. So to me, speech that's hateful, that creates an environment that makes students feel unsafe, like what happened during some of the encampments, is not acceptable. And that is to me the criterion. That is the essence of a university. We stop enforcing that idea of processing difference through dialogue and reason. We stop creating a code of mutual respect. Then we corrupt the essence of the university, which is what happened to German universities 100 years ago.
Because of the holidays, next week it's a different time for the program. It's Tuesday morning, September 30th, 30 years since Oslo. Why did the Accords fail? And can the Israeli-Palestinian peace process be salvaged? Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert Former Palestinian Authority Minister of Foreign Affairs Nasser al-Kidwa will weigh in along with UCLA Professor Stephen E. Zipperstein and UC Berkeley Professor Kenneth Bamberger.